Well, on a very basic level, people who are from Detroit simply don't like to get pushed around, I guess. And I got tired of listening to the rhetoric surrounding the investigation, or the alleged investigation into the Oakland County child killings. There are two possible reasons this case was never officially closed, and I don't believe in the first one, which is that the incompetence of the investigation led to it remaining open for over 4 decades now. The other reason this case was never officially closed was that it was not meant to be closed, and I could tell from very early on, listening to the news stories about this case and doing some initial reading, there were certain people in positions of power who didn't want this thing shut, because to shut the case means you have to come up with a conclusion. But on a very personal level, this case anchored in me very early on, because when I was a kid, somebody tried to snatch me while I was walking home from the Century Drugs that used to be at Evergreen Plaza, they called it, over at 11 Mile and Evergreen in Southfield, which is outside of Detroit. Nothing happened. Somebody I thought was a security guard had followed me out of the store, gotten into his car, followed me for 3 blocks, and then later tried to get me into that car. I ran away. I never told anybody. And as an adult, I started thinking of the time period in which this attempted snatch of me happened, and it was the same time period in which the Oakland County child killings were occurring, 76, 77, and the same MO. People thought snatching kids from outside little strip malls. They speculated that it was somebody acting in a position of power, like a security guard or police officer.
People from Michigan often describe their state as a mitten. They hold up their right hand and point to where they live on their palm. In regards to this week's case, they would show you the location of Oakland County by pointing to the base of their thumb. Sounds odd, but ask anyone from Michigan and the hand will come up. Oakland County is near Detroit. In the 1970s, it was a county that had very high-paid executives, as well as many middle-class, blue-collar workers. This combination provided both great schools and a safe environment. But Oakland County is not famous for the schools or the industry. It is infamous for the serial killer who found his prey there. This week, we are talking about the case of the Oakland County child killer. It is a 40-year-old unsolved mystery where in 1976 and 77, children were abducted and held for days. Then they were murdered and staged. The killer stole these kids off the streets before holding them captive. He fed them and took care of their physical needs, while at the same time torturing them. The bodies were not tossed out or dumped like garbage. The killer cleaned them and placed them in public places. The bodies were easy to find, but the killer was not. What happened to him? Some have speculated that the killer committed suicide, taking his secrets to the grave. Some believe that just like the boogeyman, he terrified us and vanished back into the shadows. Years later, people began to wonder, was this the work of something bigger, something even more sinister than a lone killer?